In New Orleans, as far as heat is concerned, we follow our regulations and we have protocols that we have to follow. But the regulation is if the temperature is 95 degrees ambient or 105 heat index, which generally in New Orleans we hit the heat index a lot quicker. I hear you, Camellia. A lot quicker than we do the ambient air temperature. Although here it does get 95 a lot. We just have so much humidity, a lot of times we hit the heat index first. Now, in 1980, 81, there was a lawsuit that started in 79, and they changed the regulations in New Orleans to include wording and verbiage that says that basically you could not use a horse for a certain part of the year. It made more sense to just start using mules all year long. The New Orleans Police Department still uses horses as their main use, and a lot of that has to do with the difference behaviorally between horses and mules. Mules are a lot more timid. They're going to be a lot less likely to want to run up and push on people and things like that, where you can teach horses to run into gunfire. That's the reason why you didn't see a whole lot of mules in combat. They're a little bit too smart for that. They'd rather run. So they use police horses, but by law in New Orleans we use a mule. Technically you can use horses other times of the year, but because of the fact that there are almost 4 months where the regulation states that you cannot use horses, we just decided that mules are the way. So basically what we tell everybody is that in New Orleans we only use mules, or we can only use mules. We can use horses, but because it makes more sense to just go ahead and go with the heat tolerant animal, everybody went to mules. Mules are more heat tolerant. The landscape of the South was dotted with mules. The highway system was built with mules. They talk about the millions of mules in Mississippi that built the highway systems. So it's pretty crazy the amount of mules that we've seen in the South, and that's because they handle the heat. They're not quite, they're a lot hardier than a draft horse. They can pull the same amount. They're gonna be able to handle temperatures a lot more. They're gonna handle biting insects a lot better. So that's the reason why we use the mule. They're just a hybrid between the donkey, and they get a lot of that toughness from the donkey. So it makes it a lot easier on them. The next thing is, we talk about regulation. Why do we use mules? They handle the heat better. A lot of people go, oh, well, so you're saying that any mule can handle this better. I need to make it clear, and I think I try to do this every single time we talk. We go on a case-by-case basis. So if there's a mule that struggles in the summertime, they don't work in the summertime. That's pretty simple. So they, on average, are way better at that stuff. But if we have mules that seem to struggle in the heat, we're not just going to say, oh, they can handle it. It's a case-by-case basis. And so there are about 4 or 5 mules in our group that go to the pasture in the summertime because it is much cooler on grass than it is here in the city, and they handle that a lot better. So as far as heat, a lot of people ask that. It is a case-by-case basis. There's some horses that can handle it more. Arabians, things like that. But at the end of the day, when we're looking at bulk average, the statistics say that a mule can handle the heat a lot better.